How your childhood shapes your adult relationships. Psychology reveals the hidden link. Have you ever wondered why you behave a certain way in your relationships? Why you push people away even when you crave closeness? Or why you always try to please others, even at the cost of your own needs? These patterns are not random. They are deeply rooted in your past, specifically in your childhood. According to modern psychology, the experiences you had growing up shape your attachment style, trust levels, communication skills, and even your emotional triggers in adult relationships. Understanding this hidden link between childhood and your adult connections can be life-changing. Let's explore how this fascinating psychological connection works, what types of childhood experiences create different relational outcomes, and how to recognize and heal patterns that no longer serve you. 1. The blueprint of attachment. It starts early. Psychologists John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth introduced the theory of attachment styles, which explains how the bond with your primary caregiver shapes your expectations of relationships later in life. In childhood, if your caregivers responded to your needs with love, consistency, and support, you likely developed a secure attachment style. This means you feel comfortable with closeness and autonomy in relationships. But if your caregivers were emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or overly controlling, you might have developed insecure attachment styles such as anxious preoccupied, constant need for reassurance, fear of abandonment; avoidant dismissive, emotionally distant, uncomfortable with intimacy; disorganized, a mix of fear, avoidance, and longing, often rooted in trauma. These styles become internal blueprints that guide how you connect with others as an adult, often without your conscious awareness. 2. Trust issues begin at home. If you grew up in an environment where promises were broken, emotions were dismissed, or affection was conditional, it's likely you learned not to trust easily. This lack of early emotional safety can manifest in adulthood as jealousy, hyperindependence, or fear of betrayal, even if your partner has done nothing to deserve it. On the flip side, a trustworthy and predictable home environment fosters the belief that others are generally reliable, making it easier for you to form healthy, trusting bonds later in life. 3. Emotional regulation, the skill you may never have learned. Were your emotions welcomed as a child, or were you told to stop crying or be strong? Many adults struggle with emotional regulation because they were never taught how to handle feelings like anger, sadness, or fear. Instead, they learn to suppress or explode. When emotional needs go unmet in childhood, we often develop coping mechanisms like people-pleasing, passive-aggressiveness, or emotional detachment, behaviors that deeply affect our ability to form close, resilient relationships. 4. The role of childhood roles. In dysfunctional families, children often unconsciously take on roles to survive. These include the hero, the responsible overachiever who suppresses their own needs; the scapegoat, the problem child who draws attention away from deeper issues; the lost child, withdrawn and invisible, avoids conflict; the mascot, uses humor to ease tension and distract from pain. These roles often continue into adulthood and show up in romantic partnerships, friendships, and even the workplace. Recognizing your role is a powerful first step toward change. 5. Repetition compulsion. Why you choose the same type again and again. Ever notice how you're drawn to partners who make you feel the same way a parent once did, good or bad? That's not coincidence. It's called repetition compulsion. Subconsciously, you may be trying to fix unresolved wounds from childhood by recreating familiar emotional dynamics. Unfortunately, without awareness, this can lead to cycles of heartbreak or toxic patterns that feel frustratingly familiar. You're not flawed, you're replaying what you learned. 6. Communication styles are passed down. Children mimic their environment. If you saw shouting, silent treatments, or manipulative behavior in your home, you likely adopted those methods as normal. You may struggle with assertiveness or believe that expressing your needs is wrong or will push people away. Conversely, if your caregivers modeled open, respectful communication, you likely find it easier to express yourself and handle conflict constructively. 7. Emotional availability. Can you give and receive love? Being emotionally available means you're open to both giving and receiving love, empathy, and vulnerability. But if you were raised by emotionally unavailable parents, you might struggle to let others in, even when you deeply want connection. You may fear intimacy or unconsciously sabotage closeness. Healing begins when you recognize that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the gateway to genuine connection. 8. Inner critic versus inner nurturer. The way your caregivers spoke to you becomes your inner voice. If you were constantly criticized, corrected, or made to feel not good enough, you may carry an inner critic into adulthood, one that undermines your confidence and causes anxiety in relationships. But if you were affirmed and accepted, your inner voice likely encourages, soothes, and guides you. The good news? You can retrain your inner dialogue even if it's been harsh for years. 9. Breaking the cycle. Healing is possible. Awareness is the first and most important step. By recognizing the patterns you inherited from childhood, you can begin to break them. Here's how. Therapy. Working with a therapist can help uncover childhood wounds and heal attachment injuries. Journaling. Reflecting on early memories and emotional responses can reveal hidden patterns. Mindfulness. Being present helps interrupt automatic behaviors and create conscious choices. Self-compassion. Treating yourself with kindness rewires your inner dialogue and boosts self-worth. You don't have to be a prisoner of your past. While your childhood shaped you, it does not define your future. 10. Rewriting your relationship story. One of the most empowering realizations in psychology is this. You are not your trauma, your past, or your inherited roles. You are a living, growing, adapting being. Understanding how your childhood shaped your adult relationships doesn't mean blaming your parents. It means choosing to write a new, healthier story. Every time you choose honesty over silence, love over fear, or trust over suspicion, you're rewiring the story your younger self never got to tell. That's not just healing, it's transformation. Final thoughts. Your past does not dictate your future. Your childhood laid the foundation, but you hold the pen now. By learning how your early experiences affect your adult relationships, you gain the power to change, grow, and love better. The hidden link between who you were and who you are becoming is not a sentence, it's a roadmap. When you bring compassion, awareness, and intention to your relationships, you don't just heal yourself. You also create healthier, safer, and more loving spaces for everyone around you.